Well, hello everyone. This is Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child, and I am back today to talk about St. Lucia's Day. We've been doing a few videos each week to help you tie Christmas into homeschool, to add some purpose. We've been going through the Advent. Last week we talked about hope. This week I already talked about peace. Yesterday I showed you some fun candy cane experiments in science, Christmas science. Today we're going to talk about St. Lucia's Day. St. Lucia is celebrated and honored on December 13th, which is this Sunday. And she is the patron saint of light. So let me tell you a little bit about her story, and then I'm going to show you how to make St. Lucia Rolls, and then I'm going to show you some fun activities that sort of center on light. So let me find it. First of all, I'll just tell you one thing that I have in our holiday writing lessons is St. Lucia's story writing lesson. Now that's not what I was going to really talk to you about, but in there, the December lesson in our holiday writing lessons, and I'll put a link to that afterwards. It gives you the assignment, it shows you the style techniques that you need to do, and exactly what you need to do in that writing assignment, so you could tie writing into that. And then I actually give you the St. Lucia story. We have the outline that you are going to use to prepare your writing. There are some exercises as far as adding ly words, adjectives, and dual adjectives. And then there is a checklist at the end. And the checklist for level A, elementary, B, middle school, and that should be C. But let's talk about St. Lucia for a moment, and then we're going to look at the activities. St. Lucia was a young lady that lived in the 2nd century in Italy with her mom, and she became a believer and felt like she wanted to give their money to the poor, to help the poor, and her family didn't want her to do that. But then all of a sudden her mom became ill, and she went to they prayed, they decided to go to some Christian place in Italy, and after several days she was cured of her illness. And as a way of saying thanks, her mom agreed to give her fortune to the poor. And they just found out afterwards, the government found out that Lucia was a believer, and it was against the law at the time to be a Christian. And so she was killed for her beliefs. And what they say is that they would, I mean, it's sort of legend part, but you know, they could see St. Lucia out serving the poor by giving them hot drinks and giving them food as well. I don't know what happened. The light sort of dimmed. No, I don't want to end. So, okay, so that is sort of her story. She is celebrated as light because her name, Lucia, means light. And so that's what we'll talk about. December 13th is the shortest day of the year in Sweden, where she is from, or where she is really celebrated. There is 1 hour of light. Wow. On December 13th. And so I think there's a real contrast to celebrate it on the day that the world has so much darkness, not symbolized darkness, but true. It's the longest day. The sun will go down the earliest and rise the latest. And so I think that's a good thing, that you can actually talk to your kids and contrast the darkness on that day with Jesus' light and how he is the light of the world, and use verses. And that would be something you could talk about as well to tie in St. Lucia with the Bible. But right now we're going to talk, I'm going to show you how to make some rolls. We did this, and the link that I have on here actually goes to a blog post with my kids. You'll see a picture of them when they were young. My middle daughter loved the Kirsten books from American Girl Books. I would hold the Christmas book up, but she has it up in Dallas because I've given her all, and I realized I haven't given her recipe book, so I need to at Christmas. But this is Kirsten's cookbook, and the Christmas book talks about her being from Sweden and how they celebrated St. Lucia's Day. It actually gives you a recipe here, and I will give you a link to all of this because you can follow this. But this is what they're going to look like in the end. So they're sort of rolls that are shaped like a little 8. I'll show you how to make that. And then here's a picture of her. What happened is the oldest daughter would get up and make the rolls and serve her siblings in bed. And that's the picture that's on my blog, is Gentry wearing a white dress that we made for her, which is a symbol of light, and then a wreath with candles on it was on her head. Now, we just took an old wreath that I had made, a stuffed wreath, and stuck some candles on it, and she came in and served her brothers. Now, I have actually made these with my granddaughters. I want to say they weren't that old, but basically you need bread dough. If you're not a baker, go get pop out of the can bread dough, and that's fine. I forgot I was doing this, and I baked bread all December. I had bread rising over there, so I went and pinched off off the 2 loaves some bread dough. So here's my bread dough. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, and you're going to just roll it. So you can give your kids one of those pop out of the can biscuits and split it in half and let them roll it into a log like this. Maybe we'll give it a little bit longer. My grandkids can do this when they were like 3 or 4 years old. And you need 2 of them. And what you're going to do, and I don't know how well I'm going to be able to show this on the video, is you're going to take these 2 and you are going to cross them like this, like that. I'm going to try to do it here on the cutting board. So we do this, and then each end is sort of just twirled around. And I'm going to do one so that you can see. Let's see if we can make it stay. You're going to just twirl it around, and this may be where your kids need a little bit of help. So basically, they're making an S out of each one of these. So you can see I started it. Let me get the other one made. And so then we've got 2 S's, and then it ends up being a big roll. We would actually make these at nighttime the night before and let them rise, so we didn't have to get up as early and make bread dough and do all the work. But it's going to look something like this. Okay, let's see if I can hold it there. I need a camera on top. So it's going to look something like that. I wish I had one that was finished. Then you're supposed to we put raisins in the first time, and my kids were never big raisin fans, but you're supposed to put a raisin in each section, each of the little parts of the S. And let's see if I can hold this on my hand. And then you can see how it turns out, and then we bake it. Now, since my kids didn't like raisins, we substituted chocolate chips, and we put chocolate chips on there. I would also glaze them with a powdered sugar glaze just to give it a nice little layer of a little bit of sweetness. But the bread dough alone is good. We love this bread dough. I've used angel biscuit dough. I have a recipe for the bread dough if you want to make it. But you just take that and then cook them for however long a biscuit your bread dough tells you to. I would probably cook this for about 10 minutes and check it until it was just lightly golden brown. So that is a St Lucia roll that you can make, and that is from Sweden. That is, so if you want to tie it into your Christmas study of Sweden. And I actually have that in Christmas around the world as well. Now the next thing we're going to do is make some ornaments and some decor that uses candles and lights. And what we're going to do, I'm going to do a few different things. Let me move some of my stuff out of the way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I bought one of these little clear ornaments. If you want to put some colored squunchy paper in here, you could. But basically, all you're going to need for every single one of these is some Mod Podge, or if you don't have that, you can take some glue and just water it down. You need Epsom salt. They sell this in the health, like the pharmacy. I had to go ask the pharmacist where it was. And it was, I think, where maybe aspirin and stuff like that is. So you need those 2 things for this one. And I've already poured the Epsom salt here in the bowl. And it's super simple. And to be honest, I've just looked at these. I haven't actually made one of these, so I hope it works well. These are plastic. And all you're going to do is cover the whole bottom. You can go as high as you want. And you can make it, you know, if you want, like I'm going to make it a little bit so it's sort of squiggly around the top. So we have our glue here, and then all you're going to do is take it and dip it in here and completely cover. Make sure every part of it is covered, all the glue, with the Epsom salt, and then it gives sort of a snow look here as well. That would be an ornament. Now, I would recommend when you're done on all of these, let this dry, and then you're going to spray clear adhesive or clear acrylic paint, just by a paint can, and then it will stay. Because one thing that happens is sometimes when you do this, the Epsom salt starts to fall off. So you want to spray some clear spray paint on top of it. So that is one of our light things, and that sort of looks like snow and light, but that was just fun. It was one of my Epsom salt. Now here's the other 2 I'm going to do. One, you can get a bottle, or you can get a mason jar. We're going to do the bottle first, and then we'll do the mason jar. And the mason jar you can put a candle in. My hope is to find some of those Christmas lights that you can squiggle in here. But basically, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to cover, and I'm not going to do all of this right now, but I'm going to do a lot of it here just to show you. You want to cover, you don't need to cover the bottom because then you'd have all that Epsom salt on the bottom, but you're going to do that. And this is one reason, if you're going to do it, that you want a big bowl. You don't just want a plate. You want something that has a little bit of depth in it. And I'm actually going to take the Epsom salt and pour it, sprinkle it on top. I didn't have any clear bottles, and so I wasn't quite sure how this is going to work with the green bottle, but I think it looks really nice. And then it's going to end up looking like this, and it'll have sort of that effect, and then you can put your lights inside of it as well. And you can buy those battery-operated lights. Now, the other one we are going to actually completely finish. And we're going to go backwards. If I were doing this with the kids, I would do the Epsom salt first. But since we need a glue gun and I'm going to be putting a little decor at the top, I'm going to do it first because I can. So this is really step 2 if I were doing it. I would wait till the Epsom salt was completely clear, done, and spray painted. But since I'm doing it live, we're going to go backwards. The first thing I'm going to do is I just got a little twig. To be honest, I went into my centerpiece on the dining room table, and it happened to have a little green thing, and I already had this thing. So we're just going to take this and hot glue it. Let me move my stuff around. We're going to hot glue it onto the top here. Obviously, hot glue guns, kids don't need to be messing with, but, and especially mine because it's so old. But I'm going to let's see where I can go. There we go. I am just going to hot glue a big thing of glue right there. And then I'm going to put my little, a little greenery here. And then I'm going to take the red and just put it right next to it so that it's all stuck very well there. But we're not going to leave it just looking like that. We want to give it a finished look. And so what I have is I have some twine. And the twine we are going to wrap around the top. I'm going to start the twine where the hot glue is. I want to do it before I burn myself. So I sort of push the twine right there where I already have some hot glue. And then all I'm going to do is wrap this twine around the top, and I'm wrapping it, you can see, over the little greenery so that it all stays in place. And you can come up a little bit. I'm going to do a bunch so it's pretty well covered. And then what I would do is I'm going to cut it in the back and hot glue this. So, well, having some issues. So I'm going to cut the twine right there. I'm going to put another little dot of hot glue in the back so that it all sticks. And the twine will stay in place. And so I'm just going to, I don't want to burn myself, but okay, there you go. Ouch. So now we've got the top of it all done. This is what I would actually have your kids do on day 2, but like I said, I'm doing this live and I didn't have that much time, and just to make it work, I would do this, doing it backwards. Now we want to add the Epsom salt at the bottom, and then we would want to put a candle in there. Because remember, this is all about St. Lucia, and she is the patron saint of light. And so this is going to have a little candle in there. You can see I have to be really careful. This is why you would want to do the glue first, because I'm sure your kids would end up gluing the greenery. But doing the twine around with the Epsom salt, I didn't think I would be able to do that as well. So we are going to get this covered well. Don't glue the bottom, because then you'd have Epsom salt on the bottom. You want to get a good layer. And then I'm going to take this and roll it in the Epsom salt as carefully as possible. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on top. and a little bit more in the back because it's not, you know, this might be the time you want it to have a little plate. Maybe a plate would be easier to do at this. So, well, one more section and we'll be done. I guess I put too much glue on there and I didn't get it at the top. Then it's going to look like this. The thing about it, and I will go back and fix this one before y'all over, I'd like a little bit of that snow look right there underneath the greenery. But in order, I didn't think I could wrap it and not touch the Epsom salt. So here we go. And then all we do, I don't think this candle will fit. Well, we'll put this one in. I would put a white one in, but since my white ones are over there, you can just take your candle and put it in the bottom of your thing and use it. Now we'll do that after everything's dry. Now remember what I said on the ornament in case you missed it. Here's the ornament. The one thing you need to do is once it's dried, here's the order of this, and I will put the directions on a blog post. You want to do Mod Podge first, you want to do Epsom salt next, then you want to let it dry. And then you're going to spray paint clear acrylic all over it. Then put whatever decor you want up here. You could just put twine if you want, but like I said, I didn't think I could do this. I would mess up the Epsom salt if I'd done the twine afterwards. So that's sort of a light, fun light activity as well. So those are 3 things you can actually do to celebrate St. Lucia. I will put some more links to the holiday writing lessons that has the St. Lucia story in it and the whole Christmas writing lesson. The other thing we did, we made the ornaments. We told the story. You can go back and listen to that at the beginning. St. Lucia Rolls. And remember, St. Lucia's Day is celebrated this Sunday on December 13th. And these are the rolls that we made as well. Thanks for spending time with me. I am Carrie Beck. If you have anything that you'd like me to cover with Christmas, Advent, please leave a comment because I am making the schedule for next week and I will probably do something similar on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I'm not quite sure, but we'll probably just stick with that schedule. And I'm trying to do it at different times in the day as well. So leave a comment, let me know what you would like me to cover, and I would be happy to go over that with you. Otherwise, I will just be pulling from some things that I already do. I am Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child. Y'all have a great day.